Cool. Today's main video was, I was going through my stuff and I was going through it and I realized I had a lot of gear that I was like, man, I remember buying this gear and where all this gear comes from. We're gonna sit. And some of it, I bought out a bunch of it, like 2 or 3 cymbals, and I was like, man, I remember actually buying these cymbals off the site called Cymbalholics. And most people know what Cymbalholics, well, not most people, but quite a few people know what Cymbalholics is in the drumming community, I guess. But for those that don't already went around for it, it was basically like a like early 2000s forum, kind of like a forum for people that were like really obsessed with cymbals. And just to like a lesser extent, well, not to a lesser extent, but more so like cymbals, and then like vintage gear and drums and stuff like that, and like snare drums. And I found out about it in about like 2005, 2006. So I jumped on that, joined the forum. I thought it was really cool. Like I learned a lot about cymbals and gear and stuff like that. And it was a community, so it was like a community like worldwide based. It controversially shut down, I think, like 2013, like the kind of the 2010s and stuff like that. I'm not going to go into the details about why it kind of shut down, because I know it's like a bit controversial and I don't know all the facts and stuff like that. Suffice to say, it was like any forum. Like you had people that would like troll, and then you had people that would like kind of be spiteful at each other and have little arguments and stuff like that. But for the most reason, like a lot of the people there were pretty cool, and they just wanted to learn about cymbals and stuff like that, or just like trade gear or talk about gear. So you could like buy gear off there, obviously, as I'll go through some of my gear that I've got there. So they were like, the other cool thing about the forum is like I met a lot of cool people. Steve Black, who was in Auckland, he was one of the only other Cymbalholics in New Zealand. I met him through selling stuff, was buying a cymbal on Trade Me, but then he kind of messaged me on Cymbalholics, I think, or the other way around, and he's like, oh, did you buy that cymbal? And I was like, yeah, I did. And he's like, cool, and then we became friends and started hanging out. Steve Black, I met him through that. And then I think like Paul Francis used to be on there. I'm not sure, I don't remember his username, but I remember like people talking about how people would like go on and on about Zildjian cymbals and like how they were made and processes. Then Paul Francis would like come on and say, well, no, actually you're wrong because X, Y, and Z, and people would be like, well, no, you're wrong. It's like, dude, you're talking to Paul Francis, like, shut up. And then like Bart from Drum History Podcast, a bunch of other people. So anyway, it disappeared, and that was that. Like towards the end, when it disappeared, I kind of had to stop playing drums. So like I don't know exactly when it went away and like what the kind of community was like. But when I was there, like I was, I think, a teenager, it was pretty cool. Like I said, there was a lot of kind of like trolls and stuff like that, but you learn a lot about cymbals, and I bought some stuff off there. I might as well start with this. Like I think this is like my original like Cymbalholics purchase, my very first one. It's this Ludwig Superphonic snare drum with the blue olive badge, as you can see. So like the late 1970s, 80s, I think. And a real sad story about this drum. So just as for the specs, I've got like a pure sound on it, like an Evans snare side, and then an Evans UV1 on that. So I got the snare drum from Cymbalholics. I don't remember who I swapped it with, but I think it was like my first purchase. So I didn't swap it, I purchased it. It was my first purchase of Cymbalholics. So this was like my first big purchase from like overseas by myself, because prior to that my dad had helped me purchase cymbals from Cymbals Only, which I fucking hate that site, and I should make a video about why I hate that dude so much. But anyway, at the time I had a Gene Krupa Sound King, like 14x5, and it was actually a really nice drum. I was at University of Auckland at the time, studying music, and that was a great drum. But I remember like reading that like in the Modern Drummers, they did like a snare drum episode, and they were like, everyone has to own a superphonic, everyone has to own a superphonic. It's like the drum that you must own. They did like a massive like snare drum expose. And I remember I was like, again, I was very young and impressionable. And I was like, man, like I don't see the Gene Krupa Sound King here anywhere, whereas the Ludwig Superphonic is in like the top 3 or top 5. So I should really go to Ludwig Superphonic. So I sold my Gene Krupa Sound King, Slingerland Sound King, which were really, really hard to get in New Zealand at the time. Like, this is kind of before shit kind of blew up on the internet in terms of trading and stuff like that. And used the money to fund the purchase of this snare drum. And man, I regret it. And you could probably say you don't tune the drum right, or your touch sucks. But like, I remember playing the Sound King and I was like, man, like I love this drum, it sounds great. For some reason, like being young and impressionable, when I got this drum, I thought all my problems would be solved. So this drum is actually like my practice drum because it's very, my philosophy is like I use, I don't like gig anymore or anything like that or play with people anymore, but my philosophy is I try to use gear that I actually have to kind of work to make it sound good. Because it's like, okay, like I have to actually like focus on like nuances and touch and stuff like that and tuning. So if there's a piece of gear like a snare drum that I'm like, man, I just, whenever I play the snare drum or the cymbal, I can't get it to sound good. That's usually what sits in my kit. So this is kind of what it sounds like. I'll chuck a cymbal up as well, actually. And I can do a duo. Talk. So I'll talk about the cymbal as well in a bit. So this is what it sounds like. Again, I haven't tuned the snare drum in like, shucks. Like, probably like 3 or 4 years, maybe? I don't know. It's just been my practice drum. Like, if I was to go, I don't know, like my first gig in like 20 or 30 years, I'm not actually that old, fuck I am actually, I would probably take my Ludwig 6.5 over this, or like I actually ended up purchasing another Gene Krupa Sound King like 2 or 3 years ago with reverb, which I should definitely do a video on because that thing is like requires so much maintenance. But yeah, this is like the drum that just sits in my kit. So when I'm doing like kind of rudimental stuff, for me it's quite staccato, and I don't know, it's just different. I never really played it and was like, man, I love this drum. Well, like, I never played it and was like, man, I sound good playing this drum. So it's my fault, it's my problem. The next one, actually no, and sorry, by the way, I don't remember how much I purchased this for. I think maybe it was like around 400 New Zealand dollars, not including shipping. But it was like 2010, I was looking up into like 2010, 2011 when I purchased this drum. This is Carl Allen Signature Series Ride. It is on Reverb or Facebook Marketplace. I don't really want to sell it, but at the same time, I just never play it. And like, I would rather someone else own it and plays it and has a good time with it. And I bought this off Cymbalholics. I don't remember who I bought it off. But I was looking for like a jazzier ride. I was like in that crackhead jazz quest to like find the nicest cymbal in the world. And for all intents and purposes, this is a really nice jazz ride. Like, it's a jazz trio kind of ride. Like, the way I kind of describe it, if I've had like way too much to drink, is it's a flat ride with a bell, which it kind of is. It's really light, really buttery. It's a real like kind of nice quick crash. Like, it's kind of subtle. It blends in. Really, really good stick definition is what I love about this ride. I think I got it just, excuse me, just had dinner. I think I got it just after I graduated from Auckland Uni, and that was kind of when I stopped playing for about 5 or 6 years, or just before. I think I actually do remember using it for a recording. So it would have been at Auckland Uni at the time. And yeah, it's like, I think the reason I got it was I just saw it and I was like, Carl Allen's a jazz drummer. I didn't know who he was. I've never like met him. I don't know anything about him. I don't even know any recordings he's played on. But you just look at it and you can see it's very, very, I don't know if you can see in the light, but it's like very, very well hand hammered. Lathe. It's nice. It just kind of looks like, yeah, the classic saving cymbal. So I'll play that for a bit. And like I said, I don't really want to sell it, but I just have way too much gear and I don't need all the gear. Like I came to an epiphany a few months ago where I was like, I have all this gear and someone else could enjoy it, so just get rid of it. So I kind of keep all the stuff I really, really like. And this was in the maybe pile, but it's up for grabs, but I might take it off, depending. By the way, like I've moved everything around, so I don't know what the acoustics are like in here. So hopefully that sounds okay. I'm trying to use the Jack Designated sticks, so it's got more of a cymbally kind of sound. So that's that. I don't remember how much I bought this for. I think it was like, at the time it was quite expensive because they were becoming rarer and rarer. Like I've only ever seen one other one of these, and it was on Hazel Should. But I did message Jerry about it, and he's like, man, I really like that cymbal, but I don't want to buy it. Because the shipping from New Zealand to the States is going to be quite hectic. So power to him. That's the only other time I've seen one. Yeah. So I'm kind of like, if someone doesn't buy it in a few months, I'll probably just take it off and put it back in the build. But yeah. Maybe Carl Allen, if you want to buy this back, man. Check it. You can go there. Good. Okay. Yeah, I need to sort my life out. This is kind of a, I'm 90% sure I got this off Cymbalholics. This is like an older, I think like a late 90s Pang, 20 inch. I'm very, very sure, I have a really good memory for all the gear that I bought. And where it's come from and how much I paid for it. And I'm like almost certain, like 90+% sure that this came from Cymbalholics. The reason being is because I remember around the time that I bought it, again, it would have been when I was in Auckland around like 2010, 2009 to 2012. I lived there about 3 years. I got really into listening to designations, and the album that I really remember listening to at the time was The Gifted Ones, and I think it had like Mickey Roker on drums, and he plays a Pang like on that album quite a bit because I know that Dizzy Gillespie really likes his Pangs, and so at that time I was like, man, like Pang is just essentially another ride, and also I was really into the Mel Lewis album with Thad Jones. Well, of course they all play together, but there was one album he did specifically, the only tune I can remember of it is Ain't Nothing New, where he would go, I think it was in the bass solo, they're going between trading fours, and he would like run a pan. And I just thought that was super cool. So yeah, I think it's like a late 90s, early 2000s. It doesn't have a serial number on it. So yeah, think of what you will. And yeah, I played this a little bit, and then I just kind of chucked it in the vault. Definitely will never sell it, but pangs like this are quite hard to come by. I don't know, like kind of aged, I would say, but. The cool thing about pangs is you can play them both ways. So I figured it doesn't look right. We'll just try it again, because I never play jazz anymore. I'm so fucking loud at playing these days. I'll just try it right quite quietly. The first kind of like Chinese cymbal I owned, I think, and I'll never get rid of this. I don't know why. I just feel like she's aged well and she's quite hard to get hold of. I did own like a Nova China after this, which I never played. I ended up selling it, losing money on it, but overall. Yeah, we'll do you last. So this is my Kemco pedal. Again. It's one of the old, it's not tightened. It works, trust me, it's just not done up because I have it ready to sell. These were like the original kind of like the old Kemco Tamas. As you can see, I'm not going to chuck it on and play it, but you can just have a look at it. I guess these were like the good pedals. These were like the kind of preferred pedals in their days because they were just really smooth action. I fight with this pedal when I would play it, and I'm selling this one as well because I just never play it. But when I did play it, like I was like cool because my drum teacher in university in Christchurch, he had a Kemco and he like swore by it. And he's like, these are the best pedals ever. Like, you don't need iron cobras, you don't need DWs. Like, you need a Camco. And I was like, sick, I'll get a Camco. And then again, with the paying, I don't remember, maybe like $300 I paid for it in New Zealand, including shipping. Don't remember who I bought it off. This, I don't remember how much I paid for it. Got it off someone at Cymbalholics, as I mentioned, through the, I don't remember them having like a hardware sales thing, so I don't remember where I would have found it. So maybe it was just like they had like a miscellaneous sale. Maybe someone who's watching can make a comment about it. But they had like maybe must have had a miscellaneous thing. Because I remember like the snare drum, buying the snare drum through that, and the cymbals through that. Drum teacher swore by it, I got one. It took me a long time to get a groove to it and play it. And then when I finally got a groove to it, I was like, yeah, cool, like I understand now, I get it. Which then when I would jump back to other pedals, because at the same time I was playing like a Tama Iron Cobra, which was like my first kind of professional pedal for jazz. But it made playing the Iron Cobra a lot easier. But then what I realized was I would go from the Iron Cobra back to this and I would have to kind of relearn it. And I think the reason why is the new pedals are really, really adjustable. They're really light. You can kind of move the footboard around. This one, you're kind of stuck in a certain position. You can move the cam drive and stuff like that, but I don't know, it just doesn't really make heaps of a difference. I think it kind of made it quite awkward from memory. I've got it kind of at the highest setting, I think, so it's bringing it up as high as it can go, because I used to play my foot quite far back so I could slide it. And so I'd have to learn to play the Camco again. I was like, nah, fuck that. And I ended up getting like a DW5000, which is, I love that pedal so much. Not so much the highest setting with the two legs, it just keeps dying on me. It's got terminal cancer or some shit. It's doing the trick though. And so I gifted this to my dad to like have as like an ornament in the house. So this was like set on like a table, and it was just like an ornament that they had in my dad's house. And one day I was like, hey, I want to take it back, and he got really upset because he's like, oh, I really like that pedal. I was like, cool, do you use it? And he said, no, it's like an ornament. So I bought it back, and there would have been like 2019, 2020, and like started playing it on like this big Gretsch kit that I had access to when I kind of started playing again. And I remember playing it, and I was like, man, this pedal is pretty good. Because the time they had like a Gibraltar pedal, double pedal, and I kind of didn't like the feeling of having like a double pedal. Like I was too stupid to just move the slave pedal out of the way while I do it, because I was sharing the kit. So I came up with the brain idea of just chucking this pedal on. And it was pretty good. Like I've got pictures of like, I used to take pictures of all my, whenever I changed my setup back in the day, when I started playing again, just as for like a reference for drum porn. And I do have this pedal on quite a bit. So I must have enjoyed playing it. I'm pretty sure I did. But yeah, I just had to sell it because like I don't use it. And I know there's people that get hard on for Camcos. So they can So this is the last one I've got, thank God. This was like I feel like this is like my first cymbal purchase of Cymbalholics. And it's a 22-inch, I believe it's like a 50s Zildjian. It's definitely kind of like mid-50s. It's got a mean patina on it, but you can kind of see like the hand hammering and stuff like that, so forth. I don't know if it was like, I don't think it was factory drilled for rivets or not. I don't think so. I think the guy who bought it off had drilled it. I don't remember how many rivets it had in it. Definitely more than one. But I must have taken them all out. Maybe I remember having like 3 or something like that. Because what I ended up doing, and again I bought this in like 2010 when I was in Auckland. I ended up like just putting like bobby pins, like hairpins instead of rivets, because hairpins are like way easier to get. First of all, compared to rivets, like the funny thing is with rivets, when you want them, you can never purchase them, and I've got stories I can tell you about that, especially where I'm from. All at the right size, like you might have to drill deeper. So I ended up doing that, and I, for some reason, would have left it one, I think just maybe for looks. So I bought this. I want to say, I do remember his name, Marco. He was a Cymbalholic dude, and I'm pretty sure I purchased it off him. But I'm not 100% sure. I'm like 65% sure it was him. I don't know why, his name just comes to mind. Because I seem to remember he had a lot of like older A's. that he was like trying to always flick off. And this one, I believe I got it for like 500 New Zealand dollars, which I don't know with the US, that's probably like 300 and something US dollars. And it was kind of like my main ride when I was studying in Auckland. What else? Yeah, it's just a cymbal, man. Let it go. Maybe I'll just come up and do the stamp because I've quoted it as a 50s, but if I put Cymbalholics in the title of this video, then someone's gonna like watch the whole thing and be like, wait a second, that's definitely not a 50s, that's a 1959 and a half. So I don't know if you can see the stamp there. Can you see it? I need to work out technology, Sort of, probably can't see it. Oh well, I can't see it on the video anyway, but chuck it on. I didn't really use the cymbal a lot. I used it when I was in Auckland, like again, bought around 2010-ish. And then after that, because I kind of like stopped playing drums for a while, and then I kind of got away from the jazz thing because I was such a jazz snob for so long, and I started to find other music, and I was like, well, I don't want to play jazz cymbal for that shit. So, yeah, I actually chucked the cymbal in the kit a few weeks ago because I found it and I was like, oh, what does this sound like? It doesn't sound too bad. Well, when I play it, it sounds like shit. Other people maybe. And that's the end of the cymbal video for the Cymbals of Cymbalholic. Purchases, again, Mario or Marco, I think I bought it off you if you're still alive, which you probably are. I think I remember you seeing on the Instagram thing. You have some other random cymbals going around. This isn't a Cymbalholic purchase, this is a reverb purchase, but I love this crash. This is a old school model custom shop. I think I've talked about this before, just for the heck of it. Man, I love this crash. One of a kind, obviously. Let me just check it out. Which is good. And then I've got one other crash over there, because I had to set my kit back up. $1 cymbal. Some guy actually asked me to buy, he came around selling a bunch of cymbals, and I was like, no freaking way, dude. And he's like, please, I'll give you anything for it. And I was like, please get out of my house. No, I wasn't that rude, but he was just like, what's it gonna take? What's it gonna take to take the cymbal off you? And I was like, dude, it's really not that great. You can, well, it's not, you know, what technology well you can make. It's a great cymbal, but I was like, you can get, the price I would ask you for it, you could get better cymbals. And then I have a massive Peisty vintage collection. I just have this Crash pre-serial 18-inch, no writing on it except for 18 on the bell, which is great. I love it. Turkey holding. Really should sit over there because this is a duller cymbal than that one. And then for my hi-hats today, I'll give you 5 seconds to guess what they are. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. These are this is what we make Tony Williams tribute cymbals. Fucking lovely, love them to death. Anyway, that's the end of the video. There's other cymbals in this room, but I can't be bothered showing them to you. They'll do for another time. But I'm already going to do like a snare drum comparison at some point because I got a lot of snare drums. I just sold one recently, like a Tama one. That I was like, fuck, why did I sell it? And that's 3, 2, 1, Cymbalholic.